All right, everybody. Thanks so much for stopping by another live episode of Real Estate Titans, sponsored by Lion Bolt Media. I'm your host, Greg Fowler, traveling throughout the marketplace, interviewing the top real estate professionals in our field, essentially gathering insight, inspiration. It really drives and motivates these top producers above and beyond everybody else in what I'd like to consider a real estate titan. Now, our very special guest and feature titan for today, if everybody on here cannot already recognize, now if you're listening, you might not, but if you're watching, you know this man, Chuck Fazio. It's an honor and a pleasure to have you on the show, my friend. Thank you so much for taking the time. It's an honor.
Yeah, I think once I open my mouth, some people in the audio are going to know who I am. So, you know, I got to tell you, Greg, when you reached out and said, "Hey, would you like to be on the Real Estate Titans?" I'm like, "Come on, this is just going to be awesome." And man, I like to do things right away. Usually, people get me speaking within a few days to a week, and I had to wait for this. So I'm pumped, buddy. Yeah, this is good.
Hey, I appreciate your patience, Chuck. And again, the fact that you squeezed us in your busy schedule. You know, I know the audience is thrilled to death that you're on here. So I guess without further ado, let's just dive into the series of questions, get everybody to know you a little bit deeper. And starting with the first one is really just telling everybody a little bit about yourself, really just the intro.
Yeah, so I grew up in Queens, New York. I know some people are, you know, they say I have an accent. I don't know.
I can hear it. I can hear it.
Yeah, I've been out of New York for a while, so I kind of lost a lot of it. But I grew up in Queens. I really had no idea what I was going to do for a living. Grew up in an Italian household. And, you know, I got into working at bars at the age of 17.
Wow.
And, you know, I started to get a taste for that, and you know, working in the bar scene, then going up to the nightclubs, and you know, people who know my background, you know, I'm an open book. I started working for the clubs that are run by the mob, so in that type of a scene, and it gives you the taste. It's not giving me this taste for this celebrity status, this power, this hunger for something bigger. And it just started to fuel me. But unfortunately, it fueled me in the wrong direction.
Okay.
And, you know, working in that type of a scene, started to get hooked up with the drugs, the money, the fame, the power.
Wow.
And it took me down a really bad path for many years of my life, from my 20s into my 30s. You know, I was kind of a drug addict, degenerate, power hungry. And, you know, but I always say God's got a plan. I didn't know who God was, but I could look back and go, he had a plan. So, you know, through a series of a lot of events, watching some of my friends get killed, and just really living a crappy lifestyle.
Wow.
I said I needed a change. And at the time I was married. I had 2 little kids.
Okay.
Wasn't the best husband, wasn't the best father. And my family was moving out to Arizona. So I said, you know, I need to change my life. And so I moved out to Arizona. Wow. I didn't even have a job. It'll show you the type of personality I am. I'll figure things out, man. I'll make things work.
Sure. So
moved out without a job, not knowing what I was going to do. This was back end of '98. So a long time ago.
Sure.
So maybe some of your audience out there were little kids at the time.
That's right. There's a mix in the audience. There's no doubt.
Right. So I went out to Arizona, and I said, well, what can I do to make a lot of money, be my own boss? You know, I'm not afraid of work.
Right.
You know, always had like 2-3 jobs. And so I said, let me try real estate. I heard you can make a lot of money. So I signed up for real estate school, was going through school, and I'm not a school guy, man. I'm a street kid.
Love it.
And I was like, the hell am I becoming, a lawyer here? I mean, this is crazy. But I did. I passed my test, got my license, hung it with a Keller Williams, they said they're going to train and coach me. I had no idea what I was getting into.
Wow.
It was kind of funny. I joke around that because I talk at some classes now.
Hmm.
I remember all the brokers would come in and they would go, they would say, "Hey, this is my company. Come join us." So I was like interviewing already before I got my license. And I remember this one recruiter at Keller Williams would follow up with me every couple of weeks, see where I was at my schooling. And I'd go to my dad. I go, "Somebody already wants me. I can't believe it. I got like a job already when I graduate."
Wow. That's
Yeah,
incredible.
that's how naive I was to the industry. So,
Unbelievable.
yeah.
And when you're talking about that, Chuck, I mean, you're laying the groundwork and the foundation for everybody who doesn't know your story and really weaving that. And I think it's absolutely incredible. Really just talking about you being a street kid, being out there, making it happen, making moves, working 3 jobs and really just pushing, identifying that time for a change, right? Things happen and everybody has a past. Doesn't matter who you are or what's going through, but you adjusted, you made the move to Arizona and, falling into real estate. I think there's so many people that are watching or listening that real estate isn't their dream that they think of when they're a kid, right? It's something you fall into, or you happen to know somebody who's doing well. Hey, what do you do? It's real estate. Let me give it a shot. What was your progression from that point, Chuck? Because you're on another level. I mean, you've done so much in your career thus far in real estate. It's absolutely through the roof. So I guess tell everybody a little bit about your path once you
Yeah.
got in after the fact.
And I do want to touch on something you brought up, Greg, because
Sure.
you pointed out something a lot of people don't realize. And you just nailed it. And I go around, I speak at schools, I've coached and mentored thousands of agents. And one thing that I say to every agent or every person getting in the business, that there are the percentages are so slim of somebody that got into real estate because it was their dream. They
Right.
always wanted to be in real estate.
Yeah.
Most people get into real estate on some type of adversity or change in life. It's now it's my time, or somebody thinks I'd be good, or I love showing homes. Nobody ever really understands real estate. And it's the reason why I really believe there's such a high fail rate, coupled with it's too easy to get your license. But
Sure.
That's a whole nother thing. But you touched on it, and you're spot on, buddy, because that is people just go, "Why real estate?" So
right.
Anyway, so I got in. I'm grinding. My life sucks. My life still sucks. I'm not making money. My marriage isn't good, and so I got to a crossroads. I was 2 years in the business, and I was broke. And so I started to revert back to my old roots of going working at nightclubs again. I'm good at that. I know how to run a club, and working in Arizona is like Disneyland compared to New York. And so I even took a graveyard shift running security at a casino.
Wow.
But my life was in shambles. I was separated from my wife, and God started to get a hold of me, and I kept saying, "There's got to be something better out there." And I'm not in a conceited way, but I go, "I'm better than these successful people."
Right.
And so that's when I just started seeking God, and then I met Angela. So I met Angela in real estate. We were on a team together. It was her first day. She showed up. I'm 2 years in the business, broke. To me, it's love at first sight. She couldn't stand my guts. So who can blame her?
Oh, come on. That's great.
Yeah. So we wound up, I'm good at sales. So started dating, and we were broke together. Wow. And it was hard. We almost got out of the business. And I always say it was by the grace of God. God sought us out, found us, told us to move. We moved brokerages, moved out of KW to a independent. And I don't say it to put down KW. Nothing wrong with the company.
No.
Just wasn't for us.
Sure.
And I never forget when we were interviewing companies. Here we are, 2 broke agents. And we walked into this independent local brokerage, had about 3,000 agents. So they're
Wow.
a big company.
Yeah.
And when we went into one of the offices, there was a plaque. And on that plaque, I said to the manager, I go, what are those names on the plaque? And she goes, that's the top agent of the company every year. And so I'm dating Angela at the time. We're not married yet.
Right.
And I said, I'm going to be your top agent at this company. And my wife or girlfriend at the time should have ran. She'd have been like, well, who the hell am I dating here?
Oh, I love it.
So we made the move. It was a leap of faith. We implemented what we believe works the best. She's got a double master's in teaching, and I say,
Wow.
I get a double master's at running the street. And
Well said.
we went from being broke and ready to be out of the business to in 1 year selling 17 million, then 22 million, then
Wow.
28 million, then 40 million. We were ranked as one of the top agents in the country
Unreal.
within 5 years. And we also started a team. Now, at that time, teams weren't that as big as they are now.
Sure.
And the way we got into it is there was these two girls at Keller Williams that heard we were leaving, and they said, we want to be part of your team. And I'm like, I'm broke. I don't even know what the hell I'm doing. And they just said, we want to be around you.
Wow.
And we did. We started a team. Our team motto was we walk by faith, not by sight. And we ran a team. So we were doing 40 million. Our team, so not counting our numbers, we never combined. Our team was doing 89 million.
Wow, Chuck.
In real estate. And that was back in 2003. So a long time ago.
Unreal. Unbelievable.
So we were blessed. God just opened doors for us, changed our lives, opened our eyes. And, we based everything off of biblical concepts.
Sure.
It actually worked.
Yeah, but I love that. I mean, I can see, what is it? It's at Proverbs.
27:17.
Yep.
That's our motto. So I run everything. There's iron sharpens iron.
I love
One
that.
man sharpens another.
But Chuck, that's so inspirational to go through, and hopefully everybody picked that up. But there's a crossroads and a time frame for everybody in whatever decisions we make. And you were at the point where you were potentially going to shift gears and give up, right? Change career paths. And for whatever reason you didn't, and you kept moving forward, and look at that tenacity and that stick-to-itiveness. And I think that, you don't fail until you quit. And if you just keep moving forward and keep punching forward every single day, surrounding yourself with great people and really doing the work, putting in the work, you can see the results. And that's just such an inspiration to so many people.
Grind. It's definitely a grind.
Right.
Yeah. But people look back, oh, you guys had it easy. We work 7 days a week, 10 to 12 hours a day, door knocking, open houses, just nonstop pounding pavement. And it really is, I mean, obviously it's the grace of God. But it was forming this relationship with my now wife. We were dating at the time, and we were partners, and we held each other accountable. And to me, it was more, I didn't want to look like an idiot in front of her, so I had to keep up with her. It was the joke I always say.
Oh, that's great.
So it was a great journey at the very beginning.
Sure.
But then we got to another point of going, what is the next level? Where do you go? I'm a driver, man. I just love to build. I love to bless people. And so the next logical step for us was opening up a brokerage.
Okay.
And we moved locations from our area. So selling 40 million in real estate, running a top team. Now we opened up a brokerage at a temporary location that they had to build out our office. We had to sell agents on a vision.
Wow.
On our vision. And that first year of opening the brokerage, we recruited 80 agents into a temporary location based off of a vision. And we never looked back. We grew it through a downtime. So 2005, we opened the brokerage up. We went through the big crash.
Sure.
Never went backwards. Fast forward 4 years ago, we opened up one of the largest physical offices
Hmm.
probably in the world as a real estate. It's 21,000 square feet. Got
Unreal.
a full bar, cafe, event center, game
Hmm.
room, podcast, gym, esthetician. I mean, it's like a city.
Yeah.
And
And you said 22 or 23,000, right?
20, a little over 21.
21,000, everybody. So that's not 2,100 square feet. That's
Uh,
21,000 square feet. Yeah, I wanted to repeat that. That's big.
with a 7,000 square foot patio.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's God gave me that dream probably about 6 years ago.
Okay.
And I said there's no way that'll ever happen. And then I'm like, nope.
Hmm.
Every vision I get comes to fruition.
Wow.
And it's God opens and closes doors for us.
I want to bring that up and mention it. I want to talk to everybody where you guys are at right now. So numbers wise, where are you at as far as the size of the office and operation and just general production, just so everybody gets a little idea of where you're at right now.
So let me jump back one second.
Oh yeah, do it.
Because I want people to know I don't want to throw a number out, because when people hear these numbers, they right away go, what did he just say? So it's got, because believe me, I say the same thing.
Sure.
I'm like, God, what did you do?
What?
So we grew our company. We were doing, when we moved into the new location,
Mm-hmm.
we had about 400-500 agents out of one location.
Wow.
And we were doing about 600 million a year. And it's just me and Angela and our staff, and we just figure things out on our own, because nobody helps you.
Right.
Nobody's there to go pour into you. But here's the big thing, Greg, and I think it's the message I want to park with, that I want to leave people with.
Love it.
And it is that Proverbs 27:17. And what we realized, who you surround yourself with is life-changing.
Well
And I want people to really, because people hear it, you are who the 5 people you surround yourself with, blah, blah, blah. It goes in one ear and out the other. But I'm going to tell you, it is life-changing. So we were doing about 600 million. We didn't know who to turn to. How do you go to a whole nother level?
Right.
And we said, we're going to go outside of the real estate industry, because no other broker owners are going to tell you.
Right.
And we were doing more than most. So Angela said one year, she goes, for my birthday, she goes, I want you to take me to a Dave Ramsey EntreLeadership.
Okay.
Now, I am the most uncoachable person in the world. I am so headstrong and so driven. And most of the coaches and trainers that I've been through, I'm like, they don't even know what they're talking about.
Right.
So I give up. So Angela said, I want to go to this. Now, we knew Dave Ramsey, and a lot of people know Dave Ramsey from Financial Peace.
Sure.
It's how do you manage your money, blah, blah, blah. But nobody realizes Dave Ramsey's just a freaking genius businessman. And he runs multiple companies. So EntreLeadership is another company he runs, where he pours into business owners.
Wow.
So we flew to Tennessee. She said it was a 3-day thing. I can't sit in my seat more than an hour listening to someone. And I'm going to tell you, we were there for 3 days on the edge of our seat, listening to Dave and Chris Hogan and all these baller business people. And we, at the end of the 3 days, me and Angela looked at each other and we said, we don't know shit about business. And within 2 years, just being in his system and being trained by Dave and his organization, we took our business from 600 million a year to almost 2 billion a year out of one office. So my numbers in my career, I've overseen over 40,000 homes sold and 9 billion in production.
Wow.
That's what it be.
Wow.
And I do it with my best friend, my beautiful wife. She's my partner. We do everything together. And yeah, I mean, there's days I look back and go, people, 2 billion. We were ranked one of the top single office brokerages in the world.
Wow.
And it's an amazing journey because I get to bless people.
But Chuck, and obviously, that you're doing that every single day, not just with the team, and with the brokerage and the community that you service, clients and that wise, but the real estate community in of itself. But there's so many amazing takeaways that people are reading between the lines of everything that you've been saying. So you had already mentioned, guilty by association, positive or negative in there, but you had taken it upon yourself to say, we're at a certain spot. Where do we go? You went outside of real estate. And that to me is brilliant in and of itself, right? So you took the leap to say, we need to learn more. And I think a big confusion with a lot of producers is they feel like they get to a certain point of production where they know it all, or they're pretty close to knowing it. They really can't learn too much more. And that's a big mistake. The highest earners, the highest producers, they're always learning, they're always growing, and they're trying to figure out ways to really better themselves and everybody around them every single day. And that's a huge inspiration, again, on top of everything that you've already said for everybody. So reach out, learn, never stop learning, and grow from others, and try to share that as much as possible. I want to touch on another note that I thought was really brilliant. And you had given all the grace to God, and I appreciate where you're coming from with that. But at the end of the day, you said, look, I put my vision and it gets done. You put a ton of work. And again, going back to the beginning, it's not easy. It doesn't happen overnight. It's not for everybody, but you have a vision, you take action, and you see results. And you're going to fail along the way. You're going to make mistakes along the way, a lot. But at the end of the day, you don't give up. You keep pushing forward. You've done that. You do that. And I love the fact that you had mentioned with these coaches and or teachers and mentors, and from my opinion, a lot of the audience out there too, there's not a huge amount of practitioners. There's a lot of people that teach. There's not necessarily a lot of people that do. And for everybody out there, Chuck is a man who does it. He knows it. He lives it. And there's a big difference between the two, right? And so I just want to state that. I mean, I can appreciate everything you're saying and so much more, Chuck. I mean, it just blows my mind. This conversation is incredible. But yeah, not to digress off of that, but with that question being in mind, Chuck, I do want to go to the second question. And I think this is a beautiful segue into where we're talking about. You have your vision, and throughout different parts of your life and through your career, not just for you and for your team, but for everybody that you surround and associate yourself with. So what advice would you give to anybody out there who's watching or listening? They're looking into real estate to grow themselves, to grow their business, to maybe grow their production. If it's a better balance in life, I mean, what pieces of advice could you take away from your knowledge so far and just really shed on the audience? It can go anywhere, anything you want to share.
Yeah. So I think what we need to start with, Greg, is your why.
Love it.
And what, it's funny because if you really get to know me, I'm not somebody who's in the box. I am so outside the box. I do things my way. Sometimes it's against the grain, but like my wife says to me all the time, because we're like inseparable. We're together 24/7. We have date nights, probably 5-6 nights a week. And we live and breathe. Our business is our life.
Wow.
And she always yells at me. She goes, you keep saying you don't do this and you don't do. She goes, you do it in your way. So here's where I'm going. So why? Now everybody hears these things. This is not new. Everybody listens goes, oh yeah, the why, and write down your plan, and then look, but it's real. If you don't have a why, you will get crumbled every time. Because every day I get up and I go, I don't know why I'm doing what I'm doing. I don't know why I'm taking on this bullshit. I don't know why I'm dealing with this person.
Sure.
And then I go, there's my why. And my why, so people always, well, what is your why? I'm going to tell you my why, what drives me and what should drive you. My why, and this is mine, is I do everything to glorify God. I don't do things for man. I don't go, I'm going to help you to see what I'm going to be blessed or what you're going to do in return. Because when you do that, you will be disappointed all the time and you stop doing it. And it's the people that go, why do you keep helping people? You get burned all the time. Because I don't do it for them. There's a big difference. Now, do I live in my flesh? Does it suck? Does it hurt? Do I question help? Absolutely. But when your why is this, Nothing shakes you.
Wow.
That's one.
Hmm.
Two is I live, my wife is my best friend. She's the love of my life.
Hmm.
We do everything together. And that testifies of who God is to me, because I was a wretched, degenerate womanizer, drug addict. And now I'm with this one woman for, gosh, I think we'll be married 17 years now.
Unreal.
So I have my why, I got my purpose. And so everything's got to get funneled under that.
Right.
You mentioned the word failure, or that failed, or that word is not even in my vocabulary.
Wow.
Not because I'm above it, is I don't look at things that don't work as a failure. It's just part of life.
Right.
You know, me and Angela just had a conversation the other day. I hear people regurgitate something that I actually said it doesn't even make sense. People go normal. When is it going to go back to normal? When is normal? Normal. I keep hearing this word normal. I go, there's no such thing as normal. And life changes every day, no matter what happens.
Right.
There's no normal. You know what that is for people? An excuse.
Well said.
Instead of looking forward and making things happen, they're waiting for something. Normal. Right. No, my life is normal because I make it normal. It is my life. It's a process.
Right.
Embrace the process. Now, here's the other sad part. We live in a culture and a society that is so against success that it's very difficult to become successful if you're not surrounded by the right people. So we come back to that, because here's what I mean by it. Society wants to put down people that drive and succeed and make money and aren't dependent on other people, and you're not a victim. I can't be around that.
Right.
I don't put them down. It's not, I'm beating somebody up. I just physically can't be around that environment.
Right.
Because I live and breathe outside of it every day.
Sure.
And we live in a society that if you don't get something your way, if you don't get results immediately, give up, because everything's about you. No, everything's not about you. It's a process. And that's why most people never feel success, is because they give up way too soon. And the funny thing is, it could be after a week they're giving up. You know, when you talk about sowing seeds and farming, you know, look, I'm the furthest thing from a farmer. I grew up in the concrete jungle.
Sure.
But, you know, I love the analogies when you understand it. It's as funny as somebody throwing a seed in the ground and sprinkling water on it for a week and go, I don't see nothing happening. Guess it don't work.
Right.
It's so logical to me, but to most people, we look for the easy way out.
But you're mentioning so many important things to take away, and there's a level of understanding, again, that I think that reoccurring message of surrounding yourself with great people and really taking away and learning from other people's successes. Not having failure in your vocabulary, I think, is beautiful. You know, when it comes down to that, Chuck, because there's so many people that are out there and their mentality is it's not failure, because everything's a learning experience. Everything, you can take something positive away from it and apply it to the next obstacle, the next challenge, the next opportunity, whatever it looks like. So that's a mindset portion. Unfortunately, there's so many people out there that they don't work on their mindset. They don't really push themselves that way into a positive light. It's an abundant mentality versus a scarcity mentality.
You know what, Greg, I want to see, and you nailed it. It's not even that they don't work on it, because I don't believe anybody could do it alone. Look, I'm going to keep going back to this. This is how God created us. We're not created to do this thing called life alone. And you just nailed it. That is the problem too, is they try to work on their mindset. No, surround yourself with people that have that mindset, and I guarantee your mindset changes.
Truth.
You become what you're around.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, I would agree. And that's positive or negative into those environments. And I would further, you know, push the topic of, you're not stuck where you're at right now. And, you know, you're obviously a true living, breathing testament to that. You had a certain life and you had lived a certain way and you changed. It wasn't permanent. You weren't there forever. You're not a tree, right? You can move.
Right.
And that's the same thing with your attitude. That's the same thing with your occupation. That's the same thing with the people you surround yourself with. That's the same thing, the food you eat, the exercise you do, the books you read, the movies you watch. It's a
Yeah.
conscious decision what you're doing. Everybody out there who's watching this or listening to this right now, they're feeding their minds and their souls with positivity. Great minds, really, you're shedding so much information, Chuck. It's unbelievable. And again, I'm blown away at where this conversation is going into that. So really, to me, the takeaway so far is just looking at it from that standpoint, as you said, really just going after it, making it happen, surround yourself with great people, and really putting in the time and the work, and really having that priority, that why, that deep why, above and beyond yourself. It's not about us, it's about them. And I love that recap. Any other thoughts though, Chuck? Anything for anybody out there who's listening? I mean, just this is completely off the cuff. So, I mean, anything that comes to your mind, any advice?
Yeah, and then comes another point. So let's now focus a little bit on people who are having some success.
Sure.
So everybody talks about how do we go? We can take these. They're not successful. They're not happy with their life. I jump around a lot. So
I love this, Chuck. This is
you talk
beautiful.
about not happy with your life. That whenever I teach it or when I travel and I do speaking things, the first thing I talk about before I even talk about anything, because you will not absorb anything if your home life is not in order. You see, if you have a marriage that sucks, that you're miserable, that you guys are fighting all the time, that you don't trust anybody, nothing's going to work.
Wow.
Zero. It can't happen. Get your shit together at home. Treat your wife or your husband like the person they're supposed to be. Have mutual respect. Love on one another. Have dates with them. And you know what? Right there, now we can talk about, now let's go have business. I always tell people one of the reasons why our success is at a level most never see is I have no negativity in my marriage. That's my best friend. We joke around. We say we're a female or male opposite of each other.
Wow.
She's with me all the time. So now all we focus on is success. I don't have to worry about the fight I had in the morning, or what is she doing at night, or if I'm going out tonight with the boy. No.
Right.
So get your home life in order. Now we can start talking about success. So now let's focus on the people who are seeing some success. And they go, well, how do I go to another level? I'm not seeing maybe the level of success you're having. Well, here's the other thing I'm going to challenge: complacency. Being comfortable.
Right.
Once you start feeling a little bit of success, you fall into this, I'm just going to sit and enjoy it. No, I don't believe you're either moving forward or you're moving backwards. There's no middle ground.
Correct.
And so about a year ago, me and Angela got to that complacency point. I mean, we're running one of the biggest brokerages in the country. We're having huge success, making a crap load of money, but I was seeing a lot of holes in the real estate industry as a whole.
Okay.
And so I said, man, I got to practice what I preach. I'm comfortable. I shouldn't be comfortable.
Right.
I'm not blessing enough people. I know things that are happening. So we did something. We put our money where our mouth is. If I'm going to talk the talk, I better walk the walk.
Love it.
And we did something that was so off the cuff that people actually made fun of us and ridiculed us when we did it. Wow. So my brokerages was valued at about $15 million.
Wow.
I could retire. I mean, we used to do our month-long travels in Europe. And so I said, you know what? I want to be bigger. I want to bless more people. Wow. I see holes in this industry. We literally shut down our brokerage and moved to eXp Realty.
Unreal.
Literally closed it down overnight. And we had 906 agents. And the risk we took, because now I'm going, how many agents are going to follow? How many agents are going to see what I see?
Sure.
I'm making a lot of money. This could be financial suicide.
Right.
And you know what? We prayed about it. I'll tell you, it's 6 months. 6 months, I used to wake in the middle of the night with anxiety attacks, knowing, God, is this what you want us to do? Wow. And it was probably the most difficult business decisions we ever made in our life. but we knew we weren't fulfilling our why. We were
Wow.
comfortable. We were in our own backyard. We were making a crap load of money. I was watching agents struggling in the industry, or a lot of the
Mm.
holes in the industry that
Sure.
EXP fills those voids.
Mm.
And we did. We moved over in February. Soon as we moved, we didn't know that. Soon as we moved, pandemic hits.
Wow. Hmm.
And you know what? Out of 906 agents, 600 of them left.
Wow. Huh.
And people laugh and they go, what an idiot Chuck is.
Mm.
Well, let's fast forward. I have 3,300 agents that I work with underneath me all over the country.
Mhm.
I am touching lives all over the country. We're
Wow.
building an empire. The difference is now I'm directly pouring. These agents who said, we're coming with you wherever you go are now my partners.
Wow.
I'm taking on partners. I'm blessing people. We're changing lives all over the world.
Wow, Chuck. I mean, you look at that leap of faith and determination to go through and eating your own cooking or practicing what you preach. I mean, that's so true. That statement of being comfortable, being uncomfortable is really where you want to be. And the complacency and plateaus, they happen in so many different businesses and so many different industries, and obviously into real estate, especially. I think that that's a testament to you really just taking it to that next spot. And again, there is no limits. As people say, sky's the limit. I mean, there's no limit. It's above and beyond, and we can throw a ton of different analogies out there. But for me in particular, what I really enjoy about you is that you're just putting your feet to the fire. You're really just taking that chance. You're moving forward, and no risk, no reward in a certain standpoints. And not everything is going to be a winner. Not everything is going to just work out the way that it's supposed to. But with knowledge, determination, due diligence, and the right people supporting and surrounding you, it's hard to get hurt. It's hard to really look at it from that perspective, and hopefully that inspires people to make moves, to really look inward to see what they're currently doing, and are they plateauing? Is there something else that they can do more? I do want to ask you though, Chuck, why EXP? Well, and again, this is not one of those things that's designed, at the end of the day for people to say, oh, well, this is going to be just talking about a brokerage. I'm curious, for a man of your caliber and knowledge and expertise, you could have gone anywhere, you could have done anything that way, and you honed in on a very specific opportunity. So would you mind sharing just a little bit about that and why, and what was your thought process behind your vision, right? What was that?
Yeah. So one of the like I said, if I was to go through my why is, the glorifying God, and then, and the Proverbs 27:17, EXP Realty is the only brokerage out there where you have invested partners, other big thinkers in the business that do share everything with you. It's like the best of the best agents are coming as the owners of their own brokerage, and we're joining forces to this juggernaut that most people, they're going, why is this the fastest growing company in the history of real estate?
Sure.
And the reason why it is because there's something that they don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
It's the human portion of like-minded professionals pulling for each other.
Wow.
Look, you could have all these Keller Williams offices. You got to remember the franchise offices. It's
Sure.
not one brokerage, number one. Number two is, if I got an agent at KW on this part of town and an agent at KW this, and their producers, they're not going to share what they do for success because they don't benefit off of each other. Look, let's put it at the end of the day. If there's a financial benefit, you're going to do more.
Right.
Period.
Sure.
Now, at our brokerage, we all financially benefit through the stock, through the growth of this company, and if somebody's in your revenue share line.
Wow.
And that's the reason why it's attracting players like myself to go, I'm not going to be this I don't want to be a big fish on a little island in a little pond.
Right.
I want to be part of this bigger pond to grow something the industry's never seen. But mark this. You can look back. This is episode 200. Maybe when you get to episode 600, they're going to look back, because I'm going to say something. EXP Realty will be the world's largest real estate brokerage. Mark my word.
Mark that words. It is December 8th, right now, episode 207. And you heard that from Chuck. Now, Chuck, I want to mention into a breakdown before, you continue with that, because there's a fellow Titan and a buddy of mine also at EXP, Daniel Beer. He's out of San Diego.
He's my partner.
He is fantastic. He's an incredible.
That's my point.
And Daniel put out, and big shout out to Daniel, by the way, if you're watching this, he put out a wonderful video about just that one segment that you had mentioned about like-minded individuals and everybody having a true incentive to give as much knowledge and share as much information for people to succeed as possible. And when he said that, and when you just said that again, that is to me worth everything and more. It's priceless. You can't put a dollar amount on a group of top professionals sharing knowledge, really helping, truly having an incentive to do that. Not just, well, I'll get around to it. Yeah. If you have somebody who's working with you and they grow, you grow, it's a true relationship. It's just like your marriage, right? You guys are like this. Everything you do is for each other. And that furthering pushing into business purposes. And I think that going to your point about that, Chuck, which I thought was beautiful, I think the way that I've heard it several times before is the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. When you talk about getting your house in order, right? Getting your personal relationships in order, if you're all out of whack there, like you said, you're all out of whack everywhere else. It's the one way you do one thing, you do everything. And I think that's beautiful. But I did want to give Daniel a shout out because that his message just rang into my ears as soon as you said that. And I thought that was beautiful. So what else?
And Daniel's one of my partners, and he's a prime example. Daniel could call me up in the middle of the night and say, Chuck, I need some help with something. We'll get on the phone. I'm there.
Yeah.
Now, if I wasn't financially aligned with them, number one, I would have never met Daniel.
Sure. Right.
Now I'm meeting these rock stars all over the country, and we're forming relationships and bonds that are so powerful. The part that people that are not at EXP, that I wish I could just open up what I know and pour into you. But when they come in, all of a sudden it's just like these things light up because you can't experience where you're at. You can't experience the unity with the bigger, and when the bigger players keep coming. It's like I said, it's like a juggernaut. Right. It's like you're feeding this energy, this ball of energy that is only getting bigger, not smaller. It's a mind-blowing concept.
Wow.
Yeah. And the one thing that I love to tell people out there is if you believe in the biblical concepts, the Bible's clear. The reason why I don't fear nothing, and I say from that perspective, is because life is finite. We're all going one day. Correct. And you don't know when. Why are you? I tell people out there, look, why aren't you going all out? Enjoy this life that you were given, because you don't know when the time is up.
Right.
So I always say, God said you were created in His image. So now here's the question I ask people, because people will use that line, and I go, what image is that? And they'll look at you with a blank stare. And people go, I don't know. What is the image of God? Well, I'm going to answer that for you right now, because we're all created in His image.
Sure.
His image is right from the beginning in the book of Genesis. It keeps saying, and God created. God's image is a creator. If we're created, we're creators.
Right.
We were built and designed and created to be creators, to grow. You have this hunger inside of you to grow. And if you're not growing, no wonder you're miserable.
Wow.
So I challenge people, you want to reach out to me, you want to change your life, enjoy it, build something bigger than what you are. That's why, like I said, if people go, well, Chuck, did you see something? Yeah, I saw something. And that's why I walked away from $15 million brokerage and a good lifestyle to do something even more, because it's not always about the money. Right. It's feeding your passion inside.
Wow.
It fuels your life.
I think that's a beautiful statement. And again, you're able to help more. You're able to touch more lives, Chuck. And that's a part of the driver. It's part of the drive. It's above and beyond you and your own intentions. It's really just for everybody else around you. And I just, there's so much in this episode. I mean, you and I could talk all day, Chuck. I mean, you are just an absolute wealth, a fountain of knowledge when it comes down to it. And yeah, I want to stress to everybody out there, if what Chuck is saying is resonating to you in any way, please reach out. I mean, hopefully I'm not going to flood your DMs, Chuck, but I just
flooded already.
So we'll just add to it. We'll continue to fill that cup. But that's a big part of the community is again, just I encourage everybody to follow Chuck on social media, check out websites. We'll have links in the comments down below so that you can really engage with this man. If anything at all has resonated with you or just want more information about how he does what he does and who he is and everything along those lines. But Chuck, anything else to add or anything before we kind of wrap everything up?
No, but I think this is great. Maybe next time we go on, I'll bring my better half with me.
Love to. I would love that.
You'll get to see my beautiful wife. I mean, she was the DB for the largest brokerage doing $2 billion.
Unreal.
And if there's any women out there that want to connect with a good, godly, successful woman, that's my wife. She runs Power Women's groups, and she's a friggin' rock star.
Hey, I'd be Chuck with you guys together or Angela alone. I'd be on. So no worries either way. A future Titan episode, there's no doubt.
There you go.
But Chuck, it's been an honor and a pleasure. I can't thank you enough for taking the time and shedding your light and just your inspiration, your motivation, your knowledge. I mean, it's just absolutely incredible. You are an official real estate Titan, my friend. So I need to dub that in there. That's an official title that you hold right there on your shoulder. There's no doubt. But yeah, I just can't thank you enough, Chuck. I appreciate you.
Yeah, and you know what? You're blessing a lot of people, Greg. Keep up the good work. You're doing an awesome job, and class act guy.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Means a lot coming from you, my friend. I'm going to hold that to you. I'm going to dub that in. And we did hear, episode 207, world's biggest brokerage. And we will come back to that, Chuck. When we get to episode 600, I know that it'll be there way before that episode. No doubt.
You'll have me and Daniel on that one.
Oh, that would be great. We'll do a panel.
There you go.
Absolutely incredible. But everybody, thank you as always for your time and attention, your love and support. If you like what we're doing for Real Estate Titans, don't forget to like, subscribe. You know what to do at this point. I do need to give our sponsor a quick shout out, Lionbolt Media. If you are in real estate, you're looking to grow and scale your business digitally, please visit lionboltmedia.com. They have a new training video on there. It's about an hour long. It's really going to dive deep into the tools and tactics from the best and brightest minds to grow and scale your business digitally. Check that out on the Facebook page or lionboltmedia.com. We are live here on Real Estate Titans every Tuesday afternoon, a different Titan, a different location. We'll catch everybody in the next live episode of Real Estate Titans. Take care. Thanks, Chuck.
God bless you, buddy.